Greetings and welcome to my garden. So today I'm going to show you how my garden looks in the middle of June. So I'm going to start over here. I have this bed of calicule and it is doing so well. I'm yet to have my first harvest from this bed. Then over here I have something very special. This is African nightshade. It's an African vegetable which is a delicacy in actually many African countries, and it is doing really well here. There are different varieties of African nightshade, and the one I have over here is called giant managu. So managu is an African name for an African nightshade. It's a Kenyan name, and you can see the vegetable is doing its name justice. The leaves are so massive, and I'm also yet to have my first harvest over here. Front of the bed I have beautiful lavender growing, as you can see. And then over here I have a bed of sweet potatoes, and they have started taking off really well. This is my very first time dedicating a whole raised bed for sweet potatoes, and I'm really looking forward to the harvest over here. So I'm gonna keep you updated on that. And right next to it I have this beautiful bed of kale that I planted in the middle of April, and as you can see the plants are doing really well. I've had a couple of harvests already from this bed, and this is gonna take us the whole year. Like with this bed, our vegetable needs for the whole year is covered. Over here I started a little experiment this year. I had some extra tomato plants and I decided to put them in containers, and so far they look so good. I might have to remove some of the plants from here because they look really crowded, and as you all know, if tomatoes don't get airflow they tend to get sick. But guys, look at that. Look at the growth of these tomatoes. They're all flowering already, and everything so far looks really good. But judging at the growth of these tomatoes, I've decided that I'm gonna put my peppers and aubergines here, my eggplants, next year instead of using it for tomatoes. But so far so good. Here on the other side is a beautiful coriander cilantro plant that has gone into seed, and it's producing this beautiful coriander seeds for me. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so if you have space to let something like this go, just do it, because you can still use these seeds to cook. So the strawberries are slowly running out. They're getting smaller, but so far it has been a beautiful strawberry year for us. We have harvested a lot. So moving along, I have more lavender over here, and over here I have tomatoes that are doing really well. I have different varieties. Each line is a different variety, and they're doing really good. All of the tomatoes are already flowering, as you can see. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a very bountiful harvest this year. Moving along, behind here I have some flowers. This is a hydrangea. As you can see, the blooms are already starting to come out, and that looks so beautiful. And some dahlias that I planted on this row, and I can't wait to see how beautiful the flowers are. Some of them are already shooting out their blooms, and I'm just so excited. My yellow raspberries are also slowly coming to an end of their production, but as you can see, we still have a little bit of berries that are still ripening. And over here under this net I have my blueberries. I've had so far one harvest from my bushes here, and I might need to harvest again today. So beautiful. And over here I have this chamomile plant, and it's also starting to shoot out blooms. So this is my first time growing chamomile, so I'm so excited about that. So moving along, I have another big raised bed in the middle of the garden. This bed is not doing as well as it should be at this time of the year, but I'm still hopeful that it's going to pick up and thrive. So over here I have some of my paprika plants. Some of my veggies. The onions are not doing so well, so I'm gonna remove everything from here and just replace with some of the vegetables. I already started some seedlings. And my pole beans are coming along very, very well also. As you can see, they're already climbing so well. So moving along, I have a lot of fruit trees. Some are not loaded because they are still very young. This particular tree is a nectarine, I think it's some sort of nectarine. That's the tag for it. And I planted this tree, this is its third year. I planted it 3 years ago in 2023. So I think maybe next year it's gonna give us some good fruits. Yeah. And this year, for the first time, I made an experiment and started some asparagus from seed. As you can see, they are doing so well. They're doing so well. And because I don't have a lot of space in ground for them, I just decided to plant them in the container. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see how they will do. So still more tomatoes, and we actually even have some baby tomatoes I can see here. I don't know if you can see it. Some baby tomatoes coming along very, very well. That is exciting. Over here I have my corn patch. It is coming along very, very, very nicely. I am so thrilled. I already went in yesterday and removed all the weeds and gave them a deep water. So over here I have more corn, and in front I have this beautiful dahlia plant that gives me beautiful blooms in the middle of the summer. This has been here for about 4 years now, and yeah, it keeps coming back every year, so that's exciting. And last year I planted some bananas, and I was really surprised. Actually, they're supposed to be winter hardy, and I was surprised to see them shooting out at the beginning of the season. I was so excited to see that. So yeah, that's really nice to know that this is always gonna come back for me every year in the garden. Some more dahlias over there, and more bananas over here. Yeah. So this year, for the first time, I'm also trying out some peas, and actually I'm so thrilled because they look really, really good, and they're already so loaded. As you can see, I have so many peas already coming, and this is so nice. This was just a little experiment to see if this works for me. Then next year I can put in a few more. I also have a few herbs over here. This is oregano. I harvested this already 2 weeks ago, and in about 2 weeks I'm gonna be having another harvest. Some thyme, some lemon thyme. This is so nice. If you haven't tried it, you should give it a try. It's really, really good. And lemon, let me see, I have a tag over here. I don't know how it's called in English. This is a German name for it. It's also really, really nice. You can use it to make teas and stuff like that. Yeah. So I have so many fruit trees. I might do a different video to show you all of them, but this is one of my favorite trees in the compound because the fruits are just so delicious. This is an Asian pear tree, and it is so loaded. Last year we had our first real harvest from it. We had like over 100 fruits on this small tree, and they were all so sweet and juicy, and that was amazing. Our cherries are also slowly coming to an end. So as you can see, we still have a few, but the birds are also having a feast, so yeah, we need to harvest the remaining ones and then call it a year for this year. And this is also another cherry tree. They're not yet producing at high capacity, but we are grateful for every little thing we get. Over here I have more tomatoes along the greenhouse. And so far all my tomato plants are doing so well, but this year we started planting in a polytunnel. It is our first year. And for some reason, unfortunately, I have a feeling that the tomatoes growing outside are doing much better than the tomatoes in the greenhouse. And I don't know if it is something that we are doing wrong over here, or if this is normal, because the leaves are much smaller than the leaves of the tomatoes growing outside. And so far I have the feeling that the tomatoes outside are further along compared to these ones. So that has been quite disappointing for me, but I'm still hopeful that they're going to catch up and give us some good results. And in case you're wondering, yes, there's a tree in the middle of the greenhouse. Like I said, we started growing in this greenhouse, in this polytunnel this year. So we didn't have much time to remove this tree before we built the polytunnel. So in autumn, we're going to remove it and plant it outside. But for this year, just also not to disturb it, because it's producing really, really well, we decided to just leave it in here. Yeah, so that is the look of my greenhouse. So far so good. So if you have an idea why my tomatoes might not be doing so well in here, maybe if you have experienced this before, you can give me a few tips on how to do it better next year. So that was a recap of what my garden looks like in the middle of June. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you like what you see, and see you in my next video. Bye.